everyone. I'm here today, okay, I'd like to say a word in English. I'm here to speak to you all today, first and foremost, as a human being. What we witnessed in Egypt in the last few days was one of the worst state-led massacres in the history of Egypt. We're talking about innocent women, men and children being slaughtered in cold blood. We're talking about over 150 people being killed for absolutely no crime, except that they dared come out to call for freedom and democracy against a brutal military coup. These are not just numbers. We are not just numbers. I want you to imagine an 8-year-old child trustingly holding the hands of his parents, leaving the house to protest. Women with their babies and children, a grandfather who can barely walk, people fasting under the heat of the Egyptian sun, using pavements as their pillows and the tarmac to sleep on. They have been in Rabat Square and in all the cities and squares all over Egypt for 30 days. Why? Because they believe in freedom, they believe in democracy, they believe in justice. These are all legitimate human rights that you and I enjoy and feel we can demand at any time. The peaceful protesters who came out to demand these very same rights in Egypt paid a very heavy price. They paid for it with their lives. 2 years ago, on the 25th of January, Egyptians stood together as one and threw off the shackles of 60 years of corruption, oppression and humiliation. This phenomenal act took extraordinary courage and determination. In 18 days, a brutal regime was overthrown peacefully, magnificently and with dignity. The whole world watched in awe. This time, the world doesn't even watch, it turns its back. On the day of the massacre, I had family and friends in Egypt calling and texting me. They were crying and begging and saying, please save us, they're killing us, don't forget us, please speak out for us. I'm here today to speak on behalf of those who have been silenced. Those who have been silenced and who can never speak again. My sister who was murdered in Mansoura, my brother who was attacked in Khalid Ibrahim Mosque in Alexandria, my grandfather who was killed in Cairo. You are their voice now. You are the voice of those who have been silenced. Speak out for them. Don't let their lives go to waste. Be the voice of the voiceless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Fatima. Now we've got Dr. Maha Azan speaking.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We stood here over 2 weeks ago in front of 10 Downing Street and we warned the British government of supporting a coup. We said that not in our name, that the British people do not want their government to support a military coup in 2013. Since then, we've seen the massacre of innocent Egyptian protesters. The numbers kept on rising. At first, people in prayer in front of the Republican Guard Club were shot with impunity. Only the other day, hundreds were killed and injured. It is not going to stop. What we are seeing now is the return of a brutal dictatorship. A dictatorship that survived for 60 years, and for a moment in history, after the election of President Morsi, the first freely elected president of Egypt, there was a moment of hope. That hope is being reversed now. What we are seeing in Rafah and throughout Egypt is the thin line of defense between freedom and dictatorship. That is why we here in Britain making its comeback through the military, through a corrupt elite that has stolen the wealth of a nation and is coming back slowly but surely to take its place, exploiting the people of Egypt. Let me remind you that Britain supported dictatorship for decades and kept Egypt and the region back. The first ray of hope was the Arab Spring. Today they are opting for their old friends again. Not in our name, not in our name. We will not support dictatorship in 2013. We will not support the junta. Again, Rabaa is a symbol of the conscience of our humanity. Rabaa today is a symbol of free people, men, women and children, in a sit-in where they know the tanks and the snipers and the killers may enter at any moment to remove them. That is courage. It is courage in the name of all Egyptians and in the name of all those that want to stand against a military dictatorship. A final word. Sisi, you have blood on your hands. Sisi, you have blood on your hands. And the people of Egypt are going to try you. Ya Sisi, ya Sisi, هنحكمك, هنحكمك, هنحكمك. يا سيسي انت خنت رئيس المنتخب. يا سيسي انت خنت رئيسنا المنتخب. يا سيسي انت قتلت اخواتي. يا سيسي ستحاكم ستحاكم ستحاكم.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maha. What do we want? End the feud. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? What do we want it? What do we want? What do we want it? What do we want? End the cube. What do we want? End the cube. What do we want? What do we want it? What do we want? What do we want it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Military no more.
Military no more.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Military no more.
Military no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We don't want an army state.
We don't want an army state.
I can't hear no one. 5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We don't want an army state.
We don't want an army state.
Look, see, CCQ democracy.
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 So what is CC? Number 1 terrorist, yeah? What is CC? CC! 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 Now the next speech from Dr. Ahmed Helmi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you all. My name is Ahmed Helmi. I'm one of the Egyptian expatriates. I was actually asked in a little speech a while ago to introduce myself. Who are you? I said I'm an Egyptian citizen. I'm actually not a political activist because I think all Egyptians now becoming political activists. All people sitting here, even lay persons. It's not the politics here, not because of actually political parties anymore. It's because of freedom in Egypt. Now we are standing here for a free cause, the cause of getting Egypt back to freedom and democracy. All of us, we took part, whether here or in the center of Egypt, in Cairo or in Alexandria, and all the sit-ins, on the 25th of January 2011, in a great revolution for freedom of the Arab Spring. Now actually this military coup is trying to get us back, and I'm feeling actually that I'm stabbed in the back. I feel that I'm stabbed in the back. My votes have been taken and thrown in the bin. I'm now standing here, speaking loudly from the center of London to all free people all over the world. just to pay their attention that Egypt will never surrender. We have been really impressed by those people who are standing in Rabia al-Adawiya Square and in all Egyptian squares. Those squares actually were impressing the world. Tahrir Square 2 years ago impressed all the world with how they, with the free movement, they managed to change the tyrant regime of Mubarak. I feel now that the regime of Mubarak is coming again without Mubarak. That's the only exception. Will not actually, as free Egyptian people, will accept that anymore. Will never accept oppression. Will never accept dictatorship anymore. President Morsi is not, we're not standing here for President Morsi, although he's a symbol now for democracy and legitimacy, but we are standing to get Egypt back to democracy. Egypt is a big country with a huge history and civilization. I've been actually visiting the UCL here, and I found a big Egyptian museum just steps from here actually. And we have all this, centers of Egyptology all over the world. Egypt has been a really historical and influential country in the region. Egyptian people are free people. They'll never surrender. They'll never give up. As the sister mentioned earlier, they've been standing there. We are now maybe here in a good weather. They've been standing in July. Whoever visited Egypt know how is the climate and the weather in July, August in Egypt. 40 degrees, and people are for a month now actually on the streets, on the ground floor, and they're never surrender, they never give up. We all stand here to say no for military coup in the 21st century, no for oppression. We are supporting legitimacy and democracy in Egypt. We say no for violence, and we condemn all those massacres happening the last few days to kill our friends and our brothers. I have a friend of mine, actually I was really sad to hear this morning that one of my best friends have been killed yesterday in the massacre among those people killed in Cairo. I was really extremely feeling that if I was in Egypt, I could have been that person. So I think if we keep silent now for this military coup, and even for the opposition who accepted, we might have different opinions, the opposition who accepted to come on the tank, the military will turn back around them and they will be caught one day. I'm just warning here for all people, all the free people in Egypt, whatever your background, whatever your ideology, we are here fighting for freedom and democracy. We are here fighting for freedom and democracy. Free, free Egypt!
Free, free Egypt!
Free, free Egypt!
Free, free Egypt!
Military coup down!
Military coup down!
Free, free Egypt!
Free, free Egypt!
Free, free Egypt!
Free, free Egypt!
Thank you.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming today. I think it's very important that as Egyptians, as human beings, we stand in solidarity with people who are being massacred just for standing up for their own rights. In 2011, the Egyptian people were one. They were united. They came down to the streets of Cairo and they asked for justice. They asked for freedom. They asked for their rights. They asked to live like human beings, and they managed to achieve something. What's happening today has nothing to do with a revolution. It's taking Egyptians back so many centuries. And what is happening among us is that we are watching it happen. We are watching people killed, people tortured, people imprisoned for absolutely no reason other than because they are saying we want our rights. It is inhumane of us as human beings, let alone Egyptians or anything else, to stand by and watch our brothers and sisters in humanity being killed. 120 people were killed in one single night. 5,000 people were injured. How is that even comprehensible? How can we stand by and watch it happen? No human being, no government should stay silent. We need to speak up and do something about it. How can we sleep at night when this happens? We need to stand united with the truth. We need to stand united with the people. And it is in the streets of Cairo. The streets of Cairo aren't only Islamists. They're not the Muslim Brotherhood. They are the Egyptian people. And they're being killed by a dictatorship, by a military who's trying to take over and take the Egyptians back 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years back. You have to stand up. It is the right and responsibility that you have to do as a human being. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. We are here to demand two things. The first is for the British government to admit that what happened in Egypt is a coup. And the second thing is for the British government to call for the release of the presidential team. Now is a speech from Dr. Omar Hamdoun, the President of Muslim Association of Britain.
Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today not as Egyptians, we're not here as Muslims, but we are here as humans who demand justice, we demand fairness, we demand the basic human rights that anybody throughout the world deserves. It is really upsetting for us to see a country that has taken so many positive steps towards democracy, towards establishment of law, a country that has come in the forefront with regards to the Arab Spring. It is really sad to see that the events of the past weeks have led to the destabilization of this process. It is unfortunate, and we as citizens of Britain, we as Muslims in Britain, we say that what has happened is a tragedy, not just for Egypt. It is a tragedy not just for the Arab world, but it is tragedy for the whole world. And we are here to say, yes, yes to President Morsi, yes, yes to democracy, yes for a free Egypt. Secondly, it is really sad to see that the hypocrisy of the United States of America and its puppets. America, which has told us that it is leading the way in promoting democracy in the third world. That is their claim. But they were very quick to depose and to destabilize democracy in Egypt when they saw that the people who are leading democracy are the people who demand Islam or lead in Islam or want to practice Islam. And even though what has happened in Egypt today, there has been nothing of the kind of propaganda that we are led to believe that the country is changing to an Islamic Sharia country. Rather, everybody is getting their rights. There is nobody who is being discriminated against. But America and its puppets have seen that such a organization, such a government, such a forward step towards democracy cannot be tolerated, and that's why they back the coup. And it is a shame on America, and it is a shame on the British government, and it's a shame on the West if they allow such a coup to carry on and to victor and to crush democracy. So we stand here united to say to our brothers and sisters in Egypt, those who are standing and have been standing for the past weeks, we are with you, we are behind you, and we will continue to do so. Thank you.
Egypt, Egypt, don't you cry.
Egypt, don't you cry.
We will never let you die.
We will never let you die.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Dictatorship no more.
Dictatorship no more.
5, 6, 7, 8.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We don't want the bloody state. Campervan, don't you care? Egypt's blood is everywhere. UN, don't you care? Egypt's blood is everywhere.
Thank you very much, sister. Now we've got Sister Fatma Saeed from British Egyptians for Democracy.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, I'm here to speak to you today, first and foremost, as a human being. What we witnessed over the last couple of days in Egypt was one of the worst state-led massacres in the history of the country. We're talking about innocent men, women and children being slaughtered in cold blood. We're talking about 150 people being killed for absolutely no crime other than that they came out and demanded for freedom and democracy. These are not just numbers. We are not just numbers. I want you to imagine an 8-year-old child holding on to his father's hand, clinging on to his mother's dress, leaving their house to protest. I want you to imagine the women with their babies and children. I want you to imagine a grandfather who can barely walk. People fasting under the heat of the Egyptian sun, using pavements as their pillows and the tarmac to sleep on. They have been in Rabat Square and in all the cities and squares all over Egypt for 30 days. Why? Because they believe in freedom, they believe in democracy, they believe in justice. These are all legitimate rights that you and I enjoy and feel we can demand at any time. The peaceful protesters in Egypt who came out to demand these rights, these very same rights, paid a very heavy price.